Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Tax Matters. I'm Chamaka Ohawuchi. We are in March, and March happens to be one of the most important dates in the tax calendar. A few episodes ago, on our feature on the tax filing obligations of companies, we spoke about, among other things, the obligations of company owners to state internal revenue services. In that regard, we spoke about pay as you earn, the tax levied or charged, if you like, on the emoluments of workers. Pay as you earn is deducted from the emoluments of salaried employees and remitted to the State Internal Revenue Service every month. Personal income tax, however, has two legs: pay as you earn, that is, payee, and direct assessment. Direct assessment under personal income tax refers to tax levied on self-employed persons, partnerships, one-man businesses, sole proprietorships, entities that operate businesses but are not registered as limited liability companies. Like companies' income tax for limited liability companies, taxes due under direct assessment are filed and paid once a year on preceding year basis, unlike payee that is paid monthly. The assessment year for direct assessment is January to December, after which the law gives the filer 3 months after the year of assessment to file returns and pay. You are hereby put on notice that latest by March 31st, your filing and payment under direct assessment are due. We conclude this segment by emphasizing that this obligation is to the State Internal Revenue Service where you are resident. If your business is located in Abuja FCT, your filing and payment are due to the FCT IRS. Welcome once again. A few episodes ago, we responded to a question sent in by a viewer on how to register for TIN. We want to take you through the steps required to obtain TIN. As we said in that episode, these days, when a limited liability company is registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission, TIN is automatically generated. Therefore, the following steps apply only to individual registrants. Here we go. To register for TIN, log on to www.jtb.org.ng. On the home page, click on Individuals. When you click on Individuals, it will display a list of options. Then click on Register for TIN Individuals. Then it will take you to the next page, which will request you to provide your BVN, date of birth, first name and last name. After filling in the details, click on Search. It then takes you to the next page, which requires you to provide your NIN, gender, state of origin, place of birth, marital status, email address, state of residence, local government of state of residence, house address, occupation, nationality, and phone number. After providing all the details, then click on Submit. Once you have submitted your details, and once it has been approved and verified, your TIN certificate will be sent to your email address. You see, obtaining your TIN is as easy as ABC. And more importantly, TIN is free.
I'm a very busy man. My business involves a lot of traveling and I interface with lots and lots of people and organizations. Tax compliance used to be a big drag on my business. It was time-consuming and very costly. But now, no more. Introducing the FIRS Tax Pro Max, the truly fully end-to-end tax administration solution for companies' income tax, value-added tax, petroleum profits tax, and all other tax types. For fast, efficient, and convenient end-to-end tax experience, log on to www.taxpromax.firs.gov.ng. Tax Promax has turned things around for me. It is fast, user-friendly, and cost-effective. FIRS, making tax administration as easy as ABC.
Last episode, we brought you the first installment of our exclusive interview with the Honorable Minister of State for Finance, Budget and National Planning, Prince Clem Abba. We want to serve you the concluding part of the interview.
In terms of tax rates, we have about the lowest in the world, I guess. In Europe and America, it's between 40 to 50%. You will be paying of your personal income tax. It's not like that here. Even our VAT is of 7.5%. In the lowest it is in the West African sub-Saharan region, it's about 12.5. So we're still the lowest. And just like I said a while ago, in terms of revenue to GDP, we still have the lowest in Africa, which is not good. You know, about 6% revenue to GDP. And our national development plan, we're proposing that we need to grow this up to about 15%, so that government can have much more money, more reliable, to be able to meet the needs of the citizens. The reason I use reliability, you can look at the commodity markets. It's not reliable. At times prices are high, at times prices are low. So it therefore means that the revenue streams that come in would go according to the world market, the way it goes, because these are not controlled by us. But for taxes, the citizens are working, you know, so as long as they work and they are paid, you know, that money is guaranteed to flow in. Also, as businesses grow, they pay more taxes, you know, in terms of volume of the tax that they would pay. So it's a much more guaranteed and more reliable form of income that a government can rely on to meet the obligations to its people. Again, like I said, a lot of our production has been shorted. Yes, we used to be a mono-dependent economy solely on crude oil. But this year, crude oil has not brought a cent into our national revenue. And so we are running the economy purely 100% on the non-oil sector. So that shows you the reliability part of it. If we were still to be dependent on oil, then we would have had to go carpet needs, begging other countries to help us out. And that's why it's really important that citizens, you know, pay their taxes.
On efforts being made to shore up Nigeria's tax to GDP ratio.
Okay, we have the Strategic Revenue Growth Initiative, which is dependent on how to raise domestic revenue mobilization. We also have the AMYMAT program that we are currently running in conjunction with the World Bank. And then when you look at, we're also using the Finance Act to also stimulate revenue. And that again has worked over time because it depends on the changes that are taking place in the economy. So the Finance Act itself is responding to those vagaries of changes that take place in line with the realities that we find ourselves. And I think that that's what has seen us really through. And with our budget system, we've also brought in the GOEs into our budget. Before now, the internally generated revenue was about 270 billion. Now we're talking in trillions from the 60 or so GOEs. You know, so we are making progress in terms of our non-oil revenues.
The Muhammadu Buhari administration has earned the distinction of being the first administration in recent time to introduce yearly changes, yearly amendments to tax laws through the now popular Finance Acts. We have had Finance Acts 2019, 2020, 2021, and Finance Act 2022 is in the works. We asked the minister to assess the success of the yearly Finance Acts.
Yeah, it's true that the Finance Act is very innovative, and advanced countries of the world also have been using it. So it's not new entirely, but to Nigeria it is very, very new. And it was through the Finance Act, for instance, that we were able to change the VAT rate. And you see that it was getting extremely difficult for states to be able to pay salaries. And through the Finance Act, in changing the VAT rate from 5% to 7.5%, the states now have more revenue to be able to meet up with their obligations of paying salaries. So that's one way the Finance Act has helped. There are different other laws that are also changing, that is also helping us to improve our rate of collections. It is through the Finance Act that the areas concerning what the GOEs should remit were also changed, and that's why we've been able to move the revenue from about 250 billion to now about 1.2, 1.3 trillion that is coming from the GOEs.
Prince Abba had words of commendation for the leadership of the FIRS.
The FIRS have been more effective and more efficient in their collections, especially in the last 2 years. They have not only been meeting the targets that have been set, but have been exceeding the targets. And see, once you use technology, efficiencies are usually much better than when you are doing things manually. Although, apart from the technology, I think that the leadership that we now have with the FRS is very reactive, very proactive, and I also think that they've been doing quite a lot in terms of welfare for their people, because I feel that the staff are more encouraged, at least from the results that we see.
Prince Abba concludes with these words of exaltation.
The only sure source of funding for any government anywhere in the world is taxes and levies. And usually before you start your budgeting process, you would have to look at your streams of income. And it is your stream of income that will determine your expenditure. And so that's why we have the medium-term expenditure framework. So once you have been able to determine how much you expect to get, and then you look at what leverages you have to be able to take some form of financing, because under the Fiscal Responsibility Act, there are some extent to which you can go. Then it forms your revenue base. So they now determine how many roads you can build, how many hospitals you can build, how many schools you can build. So the higher the revenue that you get, the more your ability to deliver more goods to the people. And this is where taxes are very essential. Because if you pay your tax and I don't pay my tax, then I'm depriving the government from getting the needed revenue. But when the road is built, you will go through it and I will go through it. It is for the betterment of all of us. Because if you pay and I don't pay, and the road is not fixed, then our maintenance cost of our vehicles is going to be more. So we're actually going to be paying more. So it is cheaper to pay the tax so that the road is done for all of us. And then our maintenance cost on our vehicles reduces. So that's the way it works. We are beginning to see how government is expressing itself and using the revenues that are coming in judiciously. We are beginning to see a well-funded military. We are beginning to see more infrastructure being built, unlike in the past where promises were made and not delivered. Like the second Niger Bridge, we'll be hearing of it from 1999. But now we can see it, we can touch it, we can feel it. And it's only made possible because of the taxes that we have paid. So if we continue to pay our tax and pay it regularly, we can only have more, and the nation can be better off.
It surely pays to pay your tax. We are coasting home, and we conclude with the third and last part of the Third Fund documentary.
The education tax is 2.5% of a company's profit. It is imposed on all registered companies in Nigeria. The Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, is mandated to collect this tax on behalf of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, which in turn disburses it to the relevant public tertiary institutions. The fund has in 10 years amounted to 2.5 trillion naira spent on infrastructure and staff development in public universities, polytechnics and colleges of education.
With more effort, more companies are complying in paying this tax. We are seeing improved funding to our tertiary education institutions as a result of the education tax. Support to ICT is a major area on the mandate list of the TED Fund.
We have benefited a lot. You can see all over this place. Today we have e-library in place in Kogi State Polytechnic. At least our students can now go online. They can go electronic to have access to different materials.
Building of standard libraries and the provision of books are also achieved with the utilization of taxpayers' money.
Assuming organizations were not paying tax regularly, there would have been no TED fund. Is it not from the tax that we pay that TED fund gets its money, which is distributed among the higher institutions and so on and so forth?
Like the attention given to the physical infrastructure, the welfare of staff in the area of continuous training locally and abroad is also considered a priority.
My name is Dr. Ekele Thompson Oshedi.
Dr. Ekele from Kogi State Polytechnic, Lokoja, is able to earn this academic title courtesy of taxpayers' money. He is a beneficiary of government intervention in the area of academic training, awarded a scholarship to study at the United Kingdom in October 2014. Upon completion, he is back and driving a revolution in energy efficiency in Lokoja, Kogi State, Nigeria.
I benefited from the academic staff training and development. In 2014, I got approval to do my PhD in UK. In our time, we were given about 24 million as a staff. Considering what I earn, how many years will I be able to save 24 million to have traveled to the UK? So even if I have that idea, it will just die there. So my appeal and encouragement to taxpayer is that their effort is not wasted. I am an example.
Like Dr. Ekele, the fund has served as a catalyst for many in lifting their passion, leading to accomplishments for themselves and the country. Feats that were before now only imagined.
I was privileged to be among those that benefited from TED Fund. That's 2012. That intervention has really helped me during my studies because financially I'm a little bit buoyant. I was able to do most of my research.
I thank God for TED Fund. I had my master's degree, and it's through TED Fund I did my PhD in linguistics at Imo State University in Owerri. I represent a majority of academic staff in Nigerian institutions and especially in Alvan, to the extent that today this college boasts of nothing less than 240-something PhD holders. Before the introduction of TED Fund sponsorship for scholarship, the number, I can assure you, was below 100. After thanking the taxpayers, I also like to appeal to them. Don't relent.
I got the TED Fund sponsorship in 2013 for my PhD program, which I went for in South Africa, specifically University of KwaZulu-Natal in Durban, to further my studies in the research on solar energy as a renewable alternative energy source. And it's really helped me, and it contributed to my finishing on time because I didn't have to suffer for need of fund.
I obtained admission into International University of Africa, Khartoum, the Republic of Sudan, and pursued master and PhD degrees in 2014 and 2018 respectively. Our salaries, local salaries, cannot cater our family needs as well as pursue high degrees, particularly outside the country. I am telling you, if Nigerians will really cooperate and give their contribution, particularly tax paying, we will reach to that state we are envying. We are envying their plight, we are envying their economy, we are envying their discipline, we are envying their education, we are envying their light, we are envying their environment, we are envying their security. Government invested a lot of money. How does that do? Because of the taxpayer.
These are bold statements reflective of the new vision in the country's education sector. It seeks to explore innovative ways for adequate funding for an assured future. Other areas of intervention enjoying funding include library development, academic research journals, institution-based research, academic manuscript conversion to books. Iyonda Oladimeji of Yaba College of Technology published the first indigenous textbook in the field of studio design in 2015. His interest in contributing to knowledge through publications was made possible through the education tax disbursed by the TED Fund.
It was very difficult to raise funds because to produce them, I needed close to about 2-3 million, which I didn't have. In fact, so TED Fund made it easy for me. So in fact, that was the first, that was and is still the first book we published through TED Fund in Yaba College of Technology, and I think I have the credits to that. And presently now, I'm going through my second publication through TED Fund also, which I've been advised to even revise the book and do like the third publication. I think going through TED Fund has made it easy for me. It wasn't easy to raise the fund, even though we have things to meet up by filling fund, bureaucracy, offices, protocols, but still it's worth the wait. But when the money came, the production was easy for me, and I think it's okay like that.
Dr. Harrison, an associate professor with the Department of Botany, is one of the 4 recipients of the funds for the production of textbooks in Delta State University, Abaraka. He encourages taxpayers to voluntarily pay their tax.
So I just want to use the opportunity to tell the citizens out there, do the right thing. Pay your tax. Help the government too. Not just for you as well, but for your children and for the betterment of the citizens of this great country.
For the students, the benefits of having well-trained teachers, convenient lecture halls, as well as equipped laboratories make learning a lot easier. These, they are aware, appreciative, and joining the call to taxpayers for voluntary payment of taxes.
I want to actually appreciate them for everything because they have really been good. They have done great in this our school. I don't know of other schools, but I'm sure of Federal Polytechnic.
The federal government of Nigeria, from all indications, have succeeded in utilizing these taxpayers' money effectively in the interest of the Nigerian student. So to enable the TED Fund initiative to achieve its aims and objectives, it is very important that the Nigerian citizens to be more patriotic with their taxes.
We want to say thank you very much because we are the beneficiary now, because we really study very well and then we enjoy the environment when we find ourselves.
I have to say a very big thank you to taxpayers, those who remember the country and deem it fit to pay their tax. It has been helpful.
It is therefore worthy of mention that the education tax is the magic wand for education development in Nigeria. It is through the instrumentality of the EDT that many Nigerian universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education are now wearing a new look. Things can be much better if all stakeholders play their roles and own up to the obligations of remitting their tax returns, disbursements, and proper utilization for the good of the society, as it pays to pay your tax.
If you travel globally, you see beautiful infrastructure, you see hospitals, you see good roads, you see good schools. These schools did not fall from heaven. It is the citizens who pay for them by way of taxes that they pay to government.
Please pay that tax. It's an investment. It's just like you investing on your child by training him. When you begin to reap the benefits, it's a lifelong thing. And that is what we encourage our taxpayers to continue to do.
Education is the bedrock of every society, and the Federal Inland Revenue Service is committed to playing her part to ensure this all-important sector of the society continues to thrive. Like this fountain, the money you pay as tax goes in circles and comes back to you in different forms. The possibilities are surely endless.
That concludes our three-part feature on TED Fund, or better still, what the 2.5% education tax paid by all companies is used for. Again, we say it pays to pay your tax. Let us all join hands together to make Nigeria great. Remember once again, the deadline for filing returns for self-employed persons, partnerships, enterprises, one-man businesses, and the like is 31st March. If you have any question, observation, or comment on this episode or past episodes of Tax Matters, reach out to us on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, by text, or by calling. And remember, you can reach out directly to the FRS through the contact center. Thank you for watching. Have a great week ahead.